If only I knew what I know now. Dumisani would still be alive and with us. This tragedy began one Thursday, about 2 months ago, when Dumisani and Sipho were on their way back from school. They found a stray dog next to the road that seemed to be ill. They felt very sorry for the dog and took a closer look. When Sipho was petting the dog on the head, he suddenly hit him on the arm and also Dumisani on the leg. The boys were shocked and frightened, and Dumisani ran away. Sipho realized that the dog must have been ill and could have infected him with germs when it bit him. He went to the nearest river to clean the wound. Sipho then rushed home and told his mother what had happened, and also that the dog had seemed to be ill.
Sorry, Kesh. Yenzani ehlathini? Bekwenze njani?
Sithemba mbathi sambe noDumisani.
Yaniluma nebabi.
Sabona inji leleceleni sasiya kuyona. Sithemba phathi yasiluma.
Lembe mathandluma, ibinjani umbala?
Ebimnyama ma.
Hawu webani.
That very same afternoon, Sipho's mother took him to the clinic. They told the sister what had happened and that Sipho suspected the dog to be sick. Sister listened carefully to what Sipho told her and praised the action of washing the wound in the river. She also said it was important that Sipho told her how the dog had behaved and what had happened to it. It was also important that the incident be reported to a veterinary or medical orderly, or even to the police, so that the dog could be traced. She disinfected and dressed the wound and examined the rest of Sipho's body thoroughly. The sister said it could have been a rabid dog that bit Sipho, and that she had to give him a rabies injection to kill the germs that had entered the wound with the dog's saliva. But my Dumisani, he was not so lucky that Thursday the dog bit him. He came home and told me what had happened.
Ma,
Kawini kwenzenjani manje mntanami?
ngiyinja ma.
Awuthi ngibona. Kunqane mntanami uyakhula hamba okwenza homework yakho. I looked at his leg and the wound did not seem to be serious, and therefore I did nothing further. Then a few days ago, that must have been about 2 months after the dog bit him, He complained about a headache. He had a high fever. He was restless. He sweated. He was itching. He saw things that were not there. He vomited. We called in a nursing sister who suggested that we take Dumisani to hospital immediately. My poor son. He couldn't swallow. He feared water. It seemed as if the thought or sound of water caused spasms and convulsions. He also reacted violently to drafts. Dumisani injured himself due to the persistent itching where the dog bit him. He was drooling and frothing and eventually fell into a coma before he died. He died a terrible death. Dumisani's death not only shocked our own family, but also all his friends and the whole village. Especially when we heard from the doctor that he died of a disease called Rabies, which he got from the dog that had bitten him and Sipho that day. So when the headmaster of the school heard that Dumisani had died of rabies, he immediately contacted an animal health official to address all the school children on the matter of rabies.
Good morning, students. I'm here today to introduce to you Mr. Siso Shezi, the animal health officer, who's going to talk to you about this serious disease which has caused a very tragic loss at this school of ours. Over to you, Mr. Shezi. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. We are all very sad when we heard about Dumisani's tragic death. From what I gather, Dumisani was the first human victim in this village to die of a very serious disease called rabies. The same rabid dog that bit Dumisani and Sipho could have bitten other people and animals. Maybe let me give you some background on the disease and maybe we could have a better understanding of its dangers and ways of preventing it.
Once a person who had been bitten by a rabid animal starts showing symptoms, like Dumisani, there is no cure. And such a person will die. But you remember me, Sipho. I had a rabies injection immediately after the dog bit me, and I survived. That is the only sure way death can be prevented.
Rabies is a disease that affects all people and warm-blooded animals. In Africa, wild animals like the yellow mongoose, the black-backed jackal, and the black-eared fox are known transmitters of rabies. Dogs are the most common animals affected. Humans and other dogs, cattle, sheep, and goat are the most important victims. Rabies is transmitted in the saliva through the bite of an infected animal. The rabies virus moves to the brain of the victim, after which symptoms appear. This may take 2 to 8 weeks, and sometimes even longer. Once symptoms are seen, there is no cure. The human or the animal bitten will die within 3 to 9 days. Infected dogs lose territorial instinct and wander about aimlessly, fighting and biting anything that comes their way. Therefore, it is said that when a wild animal suddenly becomes tame, or a tamed animal suddenly becomes wild and wander, one should suspect such an animal of being infected with rabies. Rabies is readily recognized by some or all of the following symptoms: a sudden change of behavior, stargazing, howling, salivation, depraved appetite, chewing stones, cowering, snapping, and paralysis of the lower jaw and tongue. A rabid dog, for example, will attack other dogs, humans, animals, and any other object without any warning, and aggression is often seen. Eventually, paralysis sets in before death. This is a critical stage because inquisitive children and often livestock approach the sick-looking animal only to be bitten viciously. Cattle become aggressive, attack people, and chases dogs and strange objects. Continuous wind-sucking and bellowing are often seen together with salivation and straining. Cattle often stand around water troughs but cannot drink or swallow. It looks as though a bone is stuck in the throat, although there never is. This is a dangerous situation because normally a farmer will try to remove the obstruction. If he has an open wound on his arm, he can easily be infected with the rabies virus through the saliva. All these symptoms lead to hindquarter weakness, swaying gait, eventually paralysis, and death. Rabid cats are very aggressive and will attack anything that comes on their way. Horses infected with rabies will chop, bite, and show abnormal aggression, followed by incoordination, weakness, staggering, and death.
Sir, what must be done if animals appear sick or behave strangely?
Sipho, can you answer that one?
Children should not feed, touch, or pick up any stray, sick, or injured animal, or any animal behaving strangely.
Any abnormal or suspicious behavior in animals should be reported to the veterinary or the health authorities or the police. It is essential that suspicious-looking animals be reported to the authorities so that they may be destroyed before doing even more damage. The authorities will remove the brain to confirm that the specific animal had rabies. This is the only way that rabies can be confirmed. It is absolutely essential that you warn your friends of the imminent dangers of rabies and try to restrain or control your pets.
Yes, sir. If anybody gets bitten by a suspected rabid animal, like what happened to me and Dumisani, the wound should be washed as soon as possible under running water for 3 to 5 minutes.
The wound should be disinfected and medical attention sought without delay. The doctor or medical official must be told about the suspect rabid animal, and prompt anti-rabies vaccination should be emphasized. Delay in seeking help could lead to death, as there is no cure once the symptoms set in.
Sir, what can we do to protect our family and pets from rabies?
Rabies can be prevented by vaccinating all your dogs and cats from 3 months of age. Young dogs should be vaccinated twice in the first year and thereafter annually. The vaccine is completely safe and very effective. It has no effect on a dog's ability to hunt. It does not cause abortions or infertility. Look out for posters advertising rabies clinics in your area and take your animals for injection. The injection does not hurt the dog or cat in any way and is given free of charge. If rabies breaks out in your area, have your dogs and cats vaccinated. If all dogs and cats are vaccinated, rabies will be eradicated. As we have just seen, rabies is a killer disease for which there is no treatment or cure once the symptoms appear. It is one of the most painful deaths for the victims and their relatives. So, all of us, we must keep fighting rabies. We must protect ourselves, our families and friends. The only way to do this is to have our dogs and cats regularly vaccinated against rabies.